Welcome to more Gran Turismo 7 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring my first race back on what is nowadays my main account, alt account GT7. Yeah, folks, still with my main account, Barrett Mofar, that's A+ driver rating and S sportsmanship rating. I ain't gonna realistically use unless there's actual championship events like manufacturer, NASN, whatever. And when those would correlate with the free online weekends, who knows? So, no guarantee on when I would actually use my main account for competitive racing. The only time I would be lobby stuff or of sport mode without driver and sportsmanship rating. But something to notice for this account, well, if you take account that I ran a 206.7 early on, if you want to go back in the video and look, I did. I qualified with 206.7 well before the timer hit 0 to enter the event, and well, folks, that should put me in fourth, but reality started in last. Logically speaking, should be in fourth. Well, here I am, folks. So yes, folks, on my very first race back, it's both a polyphony digital logic, because logically I should be in fourth, or starting in fourth, however you want to word that, and the last the first challenge. So yes, a PD Logic last the first challenge return. I don't exactly know what I'm going to title this video, but it might be something along the lines of that. I don't script videos, but I will say this obviously ain't scripted, because if it was up to me, I'd be battling pretty cotton good right yonder. Granted, the battle looks pretty cotton good. In reality, this really shouldn't be where I be. I ain't necessarily going to wreck people. I swear that wasn't a wreck. It looked pretty cotton close, but if you want to go back and look, car had just overbraked slightly, and I was just close enough where it kind of looked a bit different, but I swear it didn't. But still, I will try and be clean, but the problem with this is it's my first race back in the US region, so I've not raced with any of these people, most likely ever, and at the very least, in a whole heck of a time. So even if I try to race clean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, and that seems to be the trend of a whole heck of a heap of people, because there's been a whole heck of a heap of wrecks. I don't know, maybe it ain't quite dirty, but I will say that I am B-class driver rating and S-class 99 sportsmanship rating with this. I didn't check what every individual person was in the lobby. You can actually go look if you want. That's at the very beginning. I will say this in general is a higher class of field than what I've been racing on my other account, because I just started other account. The first 19 races I ever did on that account were during the same time, and you all saw the best of the net. So, theoretically, the drivers should know what they're doing more, and in reality, too, remember, this is the free online weekend. So this is Saturday, so theoretically, a lot of people should have a lot of experience here. Doesn't necessarily mean they guarantee to do, but, I mean, in reality, it's not even like I would actually even get to pole anyway for lap myself. Granted, I only had time for that one lap, and barely even so, and realistically, I didn't have time for the lap, even though the timing was correct. I did nothing wrong, but apparently it still ended up wrong. That's good old polyphony digital for you. But I will say this racing is right yonder. And there's a whole heck of a heap of racing left. So whether it's left, right, or kind of in the center of the field right now, yonder, it can still statistically be worse. I mean, maybe, just maybe, if I actually started in fourth, I would have been racing with people with a good amount of experience, while I would be more rusty. Not completely rusty, because, I mean, again, I'm recording this in chronological order, so I'd already done some races with New Zealand account, because that got the free online weekend first, with it being technically New Zealand. But still, I'm not going to act like I'm at the peak of my skills or anything like that either. So, take that as you may, but for now, if I may say so myself, this race is okay. All things considered, I think if I had time to set good a lap as I could, the skill I had at the time, I could have just barely got pole, and I was actually able to get my time down like I did this Saturday early on. By like the end of Sunday, or of my time, it would be really early on Monday, like 1 a.m.-ish. I was able to get to a 203.4. That's with a whole heck of people practice. I probably did this event over 500 miles. I can't remember for sure, but I think between actual qualifying and racing, it ended up over 500 miles. This was the one I did the most of that week's events. Take that as you may. As well, but again, if I may say so myself, the racing is getting back better. I mean, it still ain't exactly in the position that I would like to be in, but it's only one position off of what I would have started in, so that's good. And again, you go back and look to make sure, but from how I remember it, it was a Lamborghini that would have been started around about where I should have started anyway. So for all I know of, and I'll just get benefited out and say, maybe I would be in this general race right yonder anyway, because the Lamborghini would be right around where I was then yonder, or however you word that. So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's a whole heck of heap of race and go. Hard to say of how things would have gone, or should have gone, or could actually end up going. But, I mean, it could be going worse, and it is going worse for a whole heck of a heap of people. Again, that wasn't scripted, but I sort of kind of remember, because obviously I've done the race, the general instances where stuff happens. While I might not remember specifically what happened, it seems like I did kind of even retroactively kind of remember something in that general yonder happened in that general time frame. So there's that. I guess it is a pretty good memory, not to brag about memory, and really not to brag about driving, because that Lamborghini is just outright out driving me right now. I mean, obviously I'm still going to try and get as good a position as I can. By some miracle I can win the race, then great, because then that would be a successful last to first challenge. No matter what, it's a polyphony digital or PD logic, where PD does, it just PD makes sense. It just plain don't make sense, folks. So at least I remember that. If by some miracle I can win the last first challenge, I'll definitely do that. Okay. Again, I'm there. And I'm even able to make a wow. That was extremely good driving my Lamborghini. I'm getting that messed up on the previous time, but there was actually able to make the pass down on the outside on the four-wheel drive, which has better acceleration than the low end. That was really caught big good by the Lamborghini, and there it goes. I think in terms of and there it is. I was gonna say in terms of skill, at the very best, Lamborghini is looking better, but in terms of consistency, not so much. But yeah, there it is. Again, I'm legally blind. Maybe that's someone else, but I don't think it is. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, or whatever. But that was some insane lag and some insane driving there. Okay, that really is the situation. I know. I didn't remember Lamborghini going off in some weird laggy thing, but I remember Lamborghini spinning out. I remember kind of that in general section too, because that's a section I'm not so good at either. And I remember there were multiple wrecks in that section. The other sections I don't remember, but I remember even just skimming over the video that multiple wrecks in that section. So take that as you may, but I mean now what I may need to do is drive a bit better. Because it's the same car now battling each other. I had to check up in some areas with Lamborghini, but now both of us can go as hard as we want because we're in equal equipment. So now I just really need to focus on being as consistent as I can. It's one of the benefits of this car is I can race on the limit without having to worry about wrecking as much. This car is a lot more stable than the rest in the field with it being four-wheel drive. And theoretically, if it rains, it should be better too. At this point in time, I hadn't had a race in the rain with this car, with me driving. So take that as you may. As well, that's doubly why I used it. One, because I wouldn't have to worry about a massive wreck as much in this car, and two, in case it rained. But, I mean, for now, it seems to be paying off. I seem to be very slightly gaining on the car behind. Granted, it has some draft here. But this is going into my best section of the track. The east is always my best sector, really, no matter the car combination. That's there. So if I could pull away here and break the draft, that would very much be ideal. I'm not saying I can win the race or anything, but if I can drive at my own pace, that's my best chance to do it. Theoretically, it could work to keep the other car in the draft and then bump draft with each other. But in reality, I would rather pull away because, again, this is my first race back, so I don't know exactly how some people are going to drive towards the end. Everybody around my general runner has been pretty clean, but in a lot of ways inconsistent too. Obviously, a lot of wrecks have happened around me, but luckily I haven't really outright caused any But I will say, in terms of not causing a wreck, not me at least, well, folks, look at the map, and look at the lap, map and lap, last lap, and then look at the map. Look what happens, folks. That yellow flag ain't my fault. And now I'm in the lead. A lot of this race was no fault of my own. A lot of people just randomly wrecking and stuff. And I did the best I could with driving under the circumstances I had. Somehow these circumstances equal. I'm in the lead, and it seems like I have a pretty decent lead. So, folks, I might genuinely actually succeed in the first challenge. Holy snikes, folks. I mean, obviously, yeah, I would have rather started where I started when the race started. But knowing what I do now, I guess it ended up working out for really caught picking best. Because somehow or another, I was able to successfully win the last to first Polyphony Digital Return Challenge, or whatever you named the video. We'll look at the video title. Yeah, folks, that's more of a yeehaw than I ever could have expected. And, well, yeehaw!